Hi everybody, welcome back to English in 10 with me, Natalie. Today, and in our next video as well, we're going to look at conditional sentences in English. Now, you may or may not know that in English we have four conditional sentences, four conditional tenses. We have zero, the first conditional, the second conditional, and the third conditional. Now, they're all exactly the same in their structure. You always have an if clause and a main clause. But the time frame and the meaning is different depending on which one you use. In this video, we're only going to look at the zero conditional and the first conditional. I'm going to give you an explanation and then we're going to look at lots of examples to make it really clear. All right. So before we get started, if you enjoy our channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you enjoy this video, at the end, please give us a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends. That will make it really easy for us to keep making English language content for all you guys. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at these two sentences. If I explain it, people understand. If I explain it to you, you'll understand. Now, have a look at them, and can you see what's different about the two sentences? I'll give you a clue. The first one is the zero conditional and the second one is the first conditional. But how are they different from each other? As I said before, in all conditional sentences, you have an if clause, so if I explain it, and a main clause, people understand. If I explain it to you, you'll understand. All conditional sentences have this structure. In this one, you see that in the zero conditional, in both clauses, I use the present tense. If I explain it, people understand. Present tense, present tense. In the first conditional, I've used the present tense in the if clause, if I explain it to you. And then what did I use? I used the future tense. You will understand. Okay? So let's just have a little bit of a look at the zero conditional in more detail. All right. The zero conditional, if you look at it, it's very factual. If you heat water, it boils. If you put water in the freezer, it freezes. If I explain it, people understand. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm doing it right now, I'm definitely going to do it, or the water is definitely going to freeze. It just means that if the action in the if clause happens, the consequence in the main clause will definitely happen. Okay? If I put water in the freezer, it will 100% definitely freeze. If I heat water to 100 degrees, it will 100% definitely boil. So these are facts. You can also use the zero conditional for rules. For example, you can come into the restaurant if you wear a face mask. You can come into the restaurant if you wear a face mask. Children can swim at the pool if they are with an adult. Adults can swim at the pool if they wear a swimming hat. So it's good for rules as well. Also for habits, because we're still talking about facts. So for habits as well, it works. If it's hot, I drink cold water. When it's cold, I eat soup. Now, did you hear what I said? I said when, not if. So for both the zero and the first conditional, you can use if and you can use when. There's a tiny wee difference between them. So if is a little bit less probable. Very slightly less probable. So if I say when water is heated to 100 degrees, it boils. Okay, this is still a fact. Okay, 100% accurate, 100% true, 100% it will happen. If I say if water is heated to 100 degrees, it boils. Now, the consequence will always be true, but in this case, the if clause means that maybe someone will heat the water, maybe they won't. So just slightly unsure if the A part of the sentence will happen. Okay? The same for both the zero and the first conditional. When is at some point, it will happen. At some point the water will be heated. At some point the water will be put in the freezer. And when it happens, this will definitely happen. We'll look at some more examples so you will be able to see. Okay, great. So we've looked at the zero. Let's move on to the first conditional. Now, the first conditional is in the present moment. So we're talking about something that could or will happen now. And as we mentioned, we use the present tense and the future tense. Okay? If I explain it to you, you will understand. When I explain it to you, you will understand. Now, again, for this one, the action in the if clause, so the explanation, will always result in the understanding. So the action in A always results in the consequence in B. If I explain it to you, you will understand. But the difference between when and if, again, when I explain it to you, this implies that I am definitely going to explain it to you. I am going to explain it to you. So when I explain it to you, you will understand. If I explain it to you, means that maybe I'll explain it to you, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be a nice normal person and explain it to you, or maybe I'll be a horrible person and I won't help you and I won't explain it. So if I explain it to you, maybe I will, maybe I won't. But if I do, then you will understand. So the action in A always results in the consequence in B, but the difference is whether I say when or if. It's a very small difference and you can use both, but just I want you to understand the small difference. Right? Now, the difference between zero and the first conditional is that the zero is a fact. I'm not talking to anybody particularly. You find it on documents that come with things that you buy, a new Hoover, a new kettle, a new toaster, always comes with instructions, and it tells you, if you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this happens. Okay? If you plug it in, it works. Right? But the first conditional is more like me warning somebody about something or reminding somebody of something. So, if it rains, I'll take my umbrella. Like, don't worry about me. It's okay. If it rains, I'll take my umbrella and I won't get wet. If you don't tidy your room, you'll get in trouble. I'm just saying, I'm just reminding you, I'm just letting you know that if you don't tidy your room, you'll get in trouble. Maybe you will tidy your room, so that's okay. But if you don't, you'll get in trouble. All right. Let's take a look now at a set of examples and see the difference between the zero and the first conditional in each example. When the sun shines, it gets very hot in here. When the sun shines, it gets very hot in here. That's a fact. Sometimes the sun shines, and when it does, it gets very hot in here. If the sun shines, it'll get really hot in here. If the sun shines, it'll get really hot in here. So I'm letting you know what will happen. Maybe you could turn on the AC, or maybe you'll wear shorts and a t-shirt. I'm just reminding you that when the sun shines, if the sun shines, it will get really hot in here. When I go on holiday, I drink wine, I go swimming, and I read my book. If I go on holiday, I'll go swimming, I'll drink wine, and I'll read my book. The first one, when I go on holiday, I read, I drink wine, I go swimming. This is all in the present tense, so this is all the zero conditional, and it's just a fact. When I go on holiday, if I ever go on holiday, that is what I do. The second one is if I go on holiday, maybe next week, maybe next month, if I go, this is what I will do. If I go, I will drink wine, I will read my book, and I will go swimming. These are the things that will happen if I go on holiday. And the zero is just every year when I go on holiday, I drink wine, I read my book, I go swimming. Facts. All right. That is the end of our examples and the end of this video. I know it can be a little confusing, so we'll go back and look at the examples if you need to as many times as you want. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it was helpful for you. I will be posting another video about the second and the third conditional, so don't forget to subscribe so you're notified when they get published. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care, bye.